Inside Leominster is brought to you through the generous support of Colonial Insulation Company, residential and commercial insulation and fireproofing services, specializing in blown-in cellulose as well as spray foam insulation. For more information, visit their website, colonialinsulation.com. And by Medical Arts Hearing Instruments, 52 West Street in Leominster, locally and authentically providing better hearing and quality of life since 1978. www.donotshout.com.
Here we go. There we go. Hey, we're live tonight. Dean Mazzarella is my name, and I'm the mayor of Leominster, city of Leominster, and we are live tonight as we are each and every Thursday night, and running from, it seems like every event tonight was on the other side of the city, which meant to go from this spot to that spot to this spot, now back to the LTV building, but we're live, and we have a guest, and we're going to be talking about fire prevention and some of the things that you need to be thinking about as we retool our brains and we start thinking about the next season, which snuck up on us pretty quickly. But before that, we are going to head to the phones to talk to the absolutely magnificent Art Report.
Good afternoon. Make sure you put your time down on your time card this week, please, so we don't get you involved with employee relations. You were 5 minutes late. We're going to dock you for 10.
Well,
if this becomes a habit, you're going to find out that I'll be the host.
Every event tonight they're all from 5:15 till now. And they all just came from the Apple Barn. Just came there. And
we could have come down right down the street. We could have done it live.
I was there at 5 past.
There you go.
So here I am.
That's moving.
Yeah, moving to the groove. How
well,
are you?
Talking about moving, this morning at 7:30, we're on our way to the hospital for a follow-up checkup and get to the end of Judy, and evidently a pipe broke a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And they had to dig the road up. So there was a square patch of gravel, probably 10 by 10, I don't know, and these new cones. So it made you aware that there was something there that you should slow down for.
Yes.
Well, here comes the exodus from New Hampshire, which I think was also a qualifying round for the Daytona 500.
Late for work.
Correct. And not one of them decided to slow down, for not only for the cones, but for the impending crunch when they hit the gravel. And I was laughing. I said, "This is going to be beautiful." There were three of them, bumper to bumper.
Speed bump.
They didn't flinch right through it.
Well, hopefully they have good shucks.
Unbelievable.
And how's the missus?
They're telling us she's doing good, considering. But there's going to be at least a couple more months of recovery.
Wow.
Yeah, it was too close for comfort. And the surgery was about 7 hours.
Wow.
And it really kicked the you-know-what out of her.
Yes, yes.
But wonderful home care comes in because her wound is healing from the inside out.
Right, you were telling me
so
that.
So she has an incision that's open on her abdomen.
Wow.
So she has to be careful.
Very careful.
And a lot of limits. Can't drive, can't lift anything over 10 pounds, stuff like that. But I was watching a show on Facebook today, a courtroom, and this person got a ticket, and she gave as an excuse, a legitimate excuse, I think, that she was bringing food to a sick person's house. And the judge said, that's something we don't hear anymore.
Was this the Providence, Rhode Island court?
Yeah, the Pricchio there, great show.
Yeah.
And he said, you don't hear that anymore. Well, guess what? It happened on Judy Drive because the line was at the door when she got sick. And it really brought me back to the old days. You don't see that anymore. Mm-hmm. And he even said, people don't even talk anymore when they're naming. And he said, we need more of that because we've lost that. And her dear friend she came over twice with enough food for 20 people.
Wow.
And it was wonderful, and it was good, naturally. But it was a nice touch.
Yes.
But she's doing fine.
Good.
I thank you for asking.
Good.
She was told today, it's going to be...
Be patient.
Well into Valentine's Day before you are starting to feel like yourself. And your body is telling you things. You don't think of these things. But
it's traumatic. It takes
her mood changes because her body is still in shock.
Sure.
And everything is adjusting.
Yep. Takes time.
And the older you get, it's more difficult to adjust. That's for sure.
As expected.
Yeah, but that's about it in a nutshell. I see on the Facebook too that JoJo White passed away.
Yes.
Boston Celtics.
Yes.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy. Other than that, everything is good. We got our health. That's all that matters.
You put the golf clubs away for the winter?
We played. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday.
Wow.
We played this week.
Yep.
And it was the last one of the season because I saw today on Facebook that because of the impending below zero, that the greens are now closed, but you can come up and play on temporary greens, which is the fairway. But putting is part of it. And we said, no, we've had enough.
Right.
I played 80 rounds this year.
You got a good season in. You played for me.
There you go.
All right, Art.
All right. Be well, and thank you for asking.
Tell the missus I said hello.
I will.
All right.
Bye-bye.
978-537-7770. 60 is the number to call here, extension 3. Just hit the little 3 button, and you're going to hear this wonderful voice when you answer. And feel free to just call and say hello. And We're going to take a short break, and then we're coming back because we're going to be talking about winter dangers and safety tips and things that, as we shift gears into seasons, you saw that full moon, and the temperature certainly dropped, and then all of a sudden it went from a very warm fall to a very early winter, all in the same week. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
This time we're going to have a rifle salute from the 15th Mass Volunteer Infantry and the Leominster Rifle Detail, followed by taps. Veterans, please stand. Present. Arm. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our ceremonies here for Veterans Day. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for supporting veterans. All of our veterans and our Veterans Day participants are invited up to the Veterans Center for a lunch.
Are at Veterans Day ceremonies at City Hall in the John R. Tate Auditorium, and pretty full house that day. In fact, a packed house that day. And yeah, so a great tribute to our veterans, an opportunity for us to stop just for a short time and thank all of our veterans. And interesting enough, more and more businesses are beginning to come online in terms of offering special premiums or free dinners or breakfast to the veterans to thank them. That endeavor is growing all of the time. Each year, it seems like more and more businesses are adding their names to the list, and what a wonderful thing to do. And today, there was yesterday, a breakfast at the Veterans Center that's put on by the Life Care Center up on West Street. And Veterans Day event, we were at Sunrise Assisted Living. St. Anna's had one. I don't know how many I went to, but it was quite a few. So thank you for acknowledging our veterans in the city. As I say every time I get a chance to sort of address the crowd, it is we have a very active veterans group in town. Our veterans gave, they came home and continue to give, and they're everywhere. They volunteer in our schools and our churches. They're volunteers to raise money for veterans organizations. Their little footprints are everywhere, not only here in the city, but around the state. And some of our veterans have positions in high-level veterans groups around the state, like Larry McNeil, former firefighter. And so you could just see those sort of fingerprints and footsteps all around the state. So again, thank you to everybody that comes to these events, and thank you for thanking all of our veterans. Carla, welcome to the show.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, I tried on my new jacket today.
How did it fit?
Oh, looking pretty good on it. Looking pretty good in it. My official,
Did it
my wait till I'm going to call Peter Napoli, and I'm going to take a picture, and I'm going to send it to him and say, I had to wait all these years to get a McDonald's jacket, and it had to come from my friend Crystal.
Uh-huh. Yep, I made it home safe.
Oh, good. I'm glad, because it gets dark early now, so you can't be out there walking and all of a sudden you think it's only 4 o'clock and it's really
Yeah.
4:30 and 5 o'clock, and it gets dark real fast, and then suddenly you're walking home in the dark.
And Marie, you don't want that.
That's right. You don't want that. Neither does Marie. So you make sure you get home. So just when you start to see it get dark, that's a signal that it's time to get home.
All right.
Generally, if you hear the bells at St. Cecilia's at 4 o'clock, that
Yeah.
generally means you should start thinking about heading home.
Yep, I remember that.
All right.
All right. I'll
And-
tell everyone over in McDonald's that you said thank you.
Yes, and happy birthday tomorrow.
Thank you.
I know it's going to be a big day for you, so happy birthday 3 times.
All right. I'll tell everyone at program you said hello.
And have a good time. Make sure they bring wherever you go to eat, make sure they tell you it's a birthday and bring out your cake.
Yep, I will.
With how many candles? 31.
Yep.
All right, there you go.
Take care, buddy.
Happy birthday.
Take care, bud. Bye-bye.
I'd sing for you, but you don't want to hear me
All
sing.
right.
978-537-7760. That's the number to call here. And Lieutenant Steve Provencher is here with us in the Leominster Fire Department. You look sharp. Congratulations on your promotion.
Thank you very much,
How
man.
long's it been now?
A couple months. September.
Goes quick.
It does.
And so now you're ranking officer at the fire department. Things change a little bit, but generally fire departments and groups work together. That's always been sort of the hallmark of.
Yep. Brotherhood.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Sisterhood,
You
yeah.
can't do it alone. You can't even drive the truck alone anymore. I mean, there's so many pieces to it. That's from the maintenance staff all the way to maintenance, right, of equipment.
Everybody, yep.
To wiring inspectors and city electricians and all the support staff that fire department gets. But it really has to be a team effort. And I mean, just as we saw, unfortunately in the Worcester fire, I mean, there's a firefighter lieutenant of his group that heads back into the fire because things aren't okay, and he didn't have time to ask why. He didn't have time to double or triple check as to what was going on, whether people are in the building or not. Knows that his partners and teammates are in trouble, and heads back in.
Yeah.
And so hopefully, that family, I mean, devastating, and then there are others
Horrible.
that were injured, in I don't know the condition of them. I haven't heard any updates on it, but
I heard the one kid that was very seriously injured. He's still in the intensive care unit, but
it's
he's
hopeful that
stable.
he'll get better. I mean, and I mean, who trains? I mean, fire departments, fire personnel. It's training.
It is. It's training constantly.
And even then, something can go wrong, and that's
All it takes is seconds.
That's it. Just 2 seconds, and it's all of a sudden the conditions change.
Yep.
And it's a different story. No matter how much you trained and prepared in your mind, trained, fire academy, at the station, in the field, all your lifelong experience, it can change really fast. It's devastating for that family in the city.
Very horrible.
And especially where they've had 9, I guess, total 9 or 10.
Yeah, 9 over the last 20 years.
Yeah, and it's not like it's a big city. It's big for us, second or third largest in the state. But
Yep.
just a tough time for them and anybody. I mean,
is.
it's it. It's in public safety, things go wrong real fast, and people second guess it. Like, well, I don't understand how this can happen. Well, because not everything is set up like bowling pins, and it's perfectly laid out, and you hit the pin at the right pin.
It's not. No building's the same.
No.
Nothing's cut and dry.
You don't know what's inside. You don't know the conditions. You don't know I assume it was probably a little bit of wind that night. It seemed like.
Yeah, very cold, windy night.
Cold, windy night. That takes into consideration a whole bunch of things. You get there, it's turmoil. You don't know who's in the building. Some people tell you nobody was in the building. Some people say, well, geez, where are the people that lived on the 3rd floor? They have a baby, whatever. I can just imagine, right? I mean, you've been to enough of those.
We never consider buildings unoccupied until we search it.
And so they went in, things turned real bad, and then
he
Lieutenant
looked out
went
for
in,
his crew.
Went in and said, no, I can't let them. I can't stand back here. And then that Mayday calls went out, and we know the rest of the story.
Yeah.
So
as a fire officer, I mean, one of the big things, your crew is your responsibility.
yeah,
So.
no, that's it, right? That's you get the extra credibility and recognition and all, but at the end of the day, right?
Yep.
Those are your men and women. So let's talk a little bit about sort of the seasons have changed.
Sure.
Real quick, it changed. And we went from talking about make sure you change those batteries and the smoke detectors to all of the other things that we talk about later, I think, typically in the season, like making sure the vents are clear and your
Make sure your
stove has been
vents
cleaned.
are clear. Make sure heating appliances, get them serviced. They say to service them once a year, your furnace and everything like that, to try to reduce your risk of having a carbon monoxide issue. You know, chimneys. People with wood stoves, you know, should have your chimneys cleaned routinely. Chimney fires, you know, they're pretty prevalent. We go to a lot of them in the city here a year. Most of them are contained to the chimney, but you know, if your chimney's not in the best shape, if you have an older home, you know, it can get out into your walls and
You know what I
cause a
noticed?
fire.
Even a couple times I ran into this, is even if you don't have a wood stove, that there's a little door if you burn in oil or whatever, if you have a chimney.
Oil,
And there's
pellets.
a little door, and if you open it sometimes, and I've run into this a couple times where people, I looked at them and they were filled with soot. And that can affect your flue, which then you've got another problem.
Correct.
You run into that at all?
We see a lot of problems like that. A lot of what that backup can cause is that can cause the carbon monoxide issues.
Right.
You know, it can cause the improper burning, so the carbon monoxide starts building and backing up into the house, and hopefully you have working carbon monoxide detectors on every level of the home. We say that you should have one on every floor, including your basement, even if it's not finished, and there should be one within 10 feet of your bedrooms.
And that will trigger off, and they're pretty inexpensive.
They are
today. I mean, if you think about the price.
Yeah, they are. They don't have to be battery powered. Hardwired. Most of them are battery powered
today, right?
You can put them, up on your walls. You can get the ones that plug into your, your outlets in the hallway, and it really just gives you that warning. And I always, we always tell people, if your carbon monoxide is detectors making weird beeps, just give us a call. It's better to err on the side of caution.
Right.
Most of the time it's just because the batteries went or they're too old, so it's faulty, so it gives like a weird beep.
Or dust, something can happen. They can malfunction. I mean, they're a $50 item.
Oh,
not
absolutely.
a $5,000 item.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
but they do help. And if you leave your car running or
Correct.
something's
That's a big one.
malfunctioning, people start cleaning up upstairs.
Yep.
Next thing you know, they forget the car's running. And
That's a big one. We go to a couple of those a year too.
yeah, that's just everybody's busy today.
Yeah.
I see it every day. If you have any questions for us or Lieutenant Proventia, 978-537-7760 and give us a buzz. But this is, I assume, just very good information to get. Mostly a reminder about things that typically you might forget. And
absolutely.
I think already you went to a couple pre-ignition fires in the
delayed
chimneys
ignitions
already. And black smoke is coming out of the chimney, and that's usually, I guess that's how you could usually tell. That's not a good sign.
No,
if that happens.
No, it's not a good sign at all.
And so people will call not knowing, and that might send some, some sort of whatever, it's smoke into the people's houses.
Yeah.
They call and you go there. And
it can be very scary for the homeowner that, they think they might have a fire in their basement, but it's really just the furnace malfunctioning and that, the improper burning, and a good cleaning will take care of that.
Right. What other kind of things should we be thinking about as we head into the winter?
So the winter big thing you mentioned earlier is the vents, with the snow coming and everything like that. If you have vents on the outside of your home and your furnace doesn't vent through your chimney, you want to make sure that those are shoveled out.
Pellet stoves, all kinds
Pellet
of direct
stoves,
vents today. We didn't have to think about that 20 years ago.
Another big one this time of year is space heaters.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people might use space heaters. So you want to, keep that away from any combustible materials, furniture, curtains, things of that nature. You want it on a nice level surface, somewhere where it's not going to get like bumped into or knocked over.
And make sure you have a safety. You buy something that has a safety switch on it.
Yeah, they do make the ones that have the safety switch on it. You never want to chance it. If you're going to leave, don't leave it running. Shut it off at night. Don't leave it on. Shut it off at night. Be careful be mindful of your pets and kids. You don't want them to get too close to it and result in kind of a burn injury or.
They sell those $2.29 white or green extension cords, and I think sometimes people forget. Those are fine if you have like a radio or something that's low. It's not really pulling in, but some of the things that I've seen people plug into them. And hair dryers and things that people don't realize they take a lot of power.
Yeah. They do.
The space heaters. They take a lot of power.
Yeah, that was another thing that I was going to touch on with the holiday season approaching is lighting. People put up lights on their house or inside the house. You want to make sure that the extension cords you're using are rated and meant for the type of draw that's
Right.
going to come off of it. And
Right.
You want to make sure you're not plugging too many things into one
Well,
outlet.
I think everybody's a little bit guilty of that.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
But the difference is when you start plugging appliances into them, and
Correct.
refrigerators, and
Yeah.
like heaters. They draw a lot, and you feel the extension cord, and they're starting to burn. Then you got a problem. Get the thing.
Yeah.
I know they make extension cords, but it's probably safer to just say make sure they're directly plugged into to a
Correct.
wall, and don't use an extension cord when
Yep.
you're using those kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, make sure anything outside. Make sure it's outside rated. Make sure it's for exterior use. Use the waterproof connectors. For your lines that are outside.
And that's the value of going to these small hardware stores.
Oh, absolutely.
And they can tell you, if you tell them this is what I'm doing, they can oftentimes make sure that if you're going to use something, they can oftentimes tell you, the right product to use.
Yep.
And you could do a whole show. It's
Yeah.
like duct tape. You can do a whole show on what
It
people
is.
use these extension cords for.
Yep.
And they're not made for outdoors, but I see in plenty of places where people use them outdoors.
Yeah.
If you have any questions at all, give us a call. And you want to talk a little bit about fire prevention unit and some of the things that the fire prevention department does in the city that really has made, I think, a big difference.
Sure. So the fire prevention unit in Leominster is made up of 2 lieutenants and a deputy chief. We work Monday through Friday. We're there 7 to 5. And a lot of what we do is not only the code enforcement, which is a big part of our job. We respond to complaints if people have concerns about issues in buildings in the city. We respond to those. We go out and do inspections routinely of any homes being sold. In Leominster, you have to have a certificate when you sell your house. We go out and make sure that all the smoke detectors and carbon monoxides are working properly and up to code. We handle a lot of updating information we have a database in our computer system, and we've been trying to slowly add, every building into the city information that's going to be useful to firefighters responding to calls. We have laptops in our trucks now.
So already on the way to the call,
Yep.
somebody's driving, and his lieutenant or whoever it might be might already be preparing. The dispatcher might be giving you information about that building.
Correct.
Based on the data that you're able to collect. So that already you're planning in your mind.
Yep.
If something's going on, or if it's an industrial accident or whatever it
Yep.
might be, you're already
Yep.
starting to think about. You get to a building that's a couple 100,000 square feet. You already better be thinking, what part of the building are we in? I know you do it by sort of A, B, C, D.
Yep.
But all that is already happening before you even get there.
Yep, correct. Some other big things, we go over in conjunction with the building department, we go over plans for any
Right.
new construction or modifications in the city to make sure that the fire protection systems, sprinkler systems, fire alarms, everything is going to be up to code. So we do that. We're also responsible for fire investigation. If there is a fire or any kind of fire-related injury.
Fireworks, anything,
Yep,
right? Somebody
correct.
gets injured
Yep,
in fireworks.
correct. Anything that would need to get, send notification to the fire marshal's office, we go and we do an investigation, usually in conjunction with the police officers.
Right. So there's a lot to it.
There is.
If people have questions that followed up from this, from tonight, is there a phone number they can call direct to fire prevention?
Yeah, the fire prevention number is 978-534-5950, and there's 3 different extensions, 1 for the deputy and 2 for the lieutenants in there. Feel free to leave a message, and we're out in and out of the office all day, so sometimes it might take us a day or so to get back to you, but we call everybody back.
Fire prevention still go out and do public talks and go to schools and groups to talk about fire prevention. And
So
just
yeah, so we
about what you
actually,
do?
yep, we recently just went and did some speaking at the 2 elderly high rises.
Oh, good.
Yep, yeah, we went to 100 Main and 161 Spruce.
Because each of those, how big are those buildings? I mean, they're multi-stories. They're over 7 stories.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. 100 Main is 10 stories, and 161 Spruce, I believe, is 6 stories. Yeah,
Those are
very
tall
buildings.
buildings and a
Yep.
lot of people in them.
Yep. Yeah, and they were really receptive to it. We spoke with them about some of the dangers, for, cooking and
Right.
things of that nature.
That's the big thing, I think, sometimes is, the cooking part.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, Thanksgiving, which is coming up, is actually, according to the National Fire Incident Reporting System, that's actually the #1 day
Is it?
For fires.
Yeah. Well, you got so many things going on,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
people get funky
Yeah, you
with
gotta
those.
be mindful. You know, you
roasting
gotta,
things
Yeah, you
that
gotta
they-
stand by your pan.
Yeah,
You know?
it's-
Yeah, you gotta watch when a lot of people now they like to deep fry the
Right,
turkey.
right.
You gotta,
That stuff looks dangerous
Yeah,
to me.
you
I
gotta
don't
be
know
careful.
why. If anybody knows how to do that,
Yeah.
I'd love to. I'd love to first taste the food because I guess it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I just look in horror like that. Just looks to me like something could go wrong real fast.
It can. It can. If you
know?
put the turkey in and the oil overflows, because the oil is just gonna go up
Yeah.
just like that.
Just like a bathtub, just
You
going to
know.
overflow.
And people's natural response, to fire, you think putting water on it
Yeah, that
will
makes
help.
it
But
worse.
when you put water on an oil-based fire, it makes it substantially worse.
Did we forget anything? And we got to make sure you say hello to your kids.
Hi, Brooke. Hi, Owen. And to my beautiful wife, Samantha, hello. I know they're watching at home.
Yeah,
so.
see, people watch the show, you
Yep,
know. That's why
absolutely.
I'm glad you look, you look good tonight. You look sharp.
Thank you.
And that's important. Your kids get to see you.
Yeah.
But it streams out, and we'll talk a little bit later. But people, we was talking on the radio station today. That's another good place for you to go to start, because people will listen. Is all the people, especially this time of year, everybody wants to connect to their hometown.
Yeah.
So we stream out so
Yep.
people can watch.
Yeah.
And it's, not everybody can come home for the holidays.
holidays,
Or,
yep.
they're far away, or there's work for a lot of people. They can't get away, or a significant other. They sort of trade off. We go here on this time, and that sometimes means going to different states. So people are watching. So thank you for good job that you do, fire prevention, all the firefighters. It's a busy place. I mean,
is.
I don't. It seems like technology. Sometimes we think all these smoke, these sprinkler systems and everything, but it changes, and it's sort of like as technology takes over one thing, it's something else. So
Yep.
auto accidents. We don't have as many, I think, industrial accidents as it used to be.
No.
We still have them.
We do,
but nothing
occasionally.
like it used to be.
Correct.
But other things seem to come up.
Yeah.
And whether people get lost out in the woods and the trails, it just there's always something to do.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
a
a
busy
variety of
place.
things that we train for.
Yeah, and you really have to. I know they've done a lot of with Ryan Young. What's it called? What's the rescue procedure called when they do like high
Oh, technical rescue.
technical rescues?
Yeah, I'm on one of the.
Oh, you do that
Yeah,
as
I'm
well?
on the District 8 technical rescue team.
but-
I'm actually one of the team coordinators.
That's a good skill, and
Yes.
it's useful.
Yeah.
But you don't really think about it until all of a sudden you need that, and you don't have it available.
Yeah.
And now we have people that can respond to.
Yeah,
those
we
kind of
actually,
rescues as well.
in conjunction with the district team, we actually host the structural collapse trailer here in Leominster. We house it at Station 2.
Mm-hmm.
And that has a lot of equipment that could be used in the event of a building collapse. Shoring, different tools for breaking and breaching through concrete, metal.
Because you can't start training for that when it happens.
No, no,
that's
you gotta
not the
be
time to
prepared.
start.
No, that's
you can look
not the
around
time.
all day, and you've got a lot of people that are really talented that could help.
Correct.
Who could help the best that they could.
Yeah.
But it just that's one of those things you got to be ready for. You can't
Yeah.
wait sometimes
Yep,
for
the
another
members-
department to get here.
The members that are on the district team, we drill monthly, both technical rescue and the dive team side. We train pretty much every month. We take July off usually in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And, it equates to, by the end of the year, I mean, it's hundreds of hours
Wow.
of
But
extra training that these
again,
guys are putting in these
It's
specialized
incredible.
skills.
No, that's good. Like I said, you can't start training.
No.
It does nobody any good.
Yep.
And if you have to wait for somebody else to come,
Yeah.
it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying, but we're doing our best right now. But it's not much we can do because.
And like you said, it's a team effort. I mean, we have members on the team from fire departments all over, North Worcester County.
Mm-hmm.
And we have, caches of equipment all over, spread out all over the district.
Right.
So that they can get deployed out fast. And
Interesting. Well, thank you again. And again, it's that time of season. So think, and be careful. If it doesn't seem right, don't do it. And there was sometimes, again, we had the fire where the kid was playing a video game. There was just nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing could have predicted that from
Nope.
what I hear. So things do happen. But
Correct.
again, at the back of his mind, he knew exactly what he needed to do. He got out of there. Everybody was safe, and that's what's most important.
Absolutely.
Is get out.
Yep.
Thank you again. We'll
Thank
take
you
a
for
short
having us.
break, and we'll be right back here at Inside Leominster, 978-537-7760, extension 3.
November 10th, 1941, Henry O. S. St. Cyr is appointed inspector of the Leominster Police Department with the rank of lieutenant. Mary, did you want to add anything more to that story?
Well, Ron, Henry St. Cyr, that's a familiar name to me. Wasn't he also a photographer?
Yes, he was, Mary. Through family donations at the Leominster Historical Commission, donated all the photographs that Henry had taken of Leominster, downtown Leominster. When Henry was a photographer, he was a detective. So when he was taking photographs of the accident scenes while he was downtown Leominster, he took a lot of local retail establishments. And with the video that you're watching behind us, I put together a little video of some of my favorite photographs from some of his many collection photographs that we had received from the family member, Mary.
Photos from the 40s
from the
and
40s
50s?
and 50s and early 60s.
Interesting. Let's watch that video you made.
There you go. I could watch those photos all day. That's just a look back to Leominster. Anybody that's lived here any amount of time that remembers Grant's or the stores back of the building still look the same. Nothing much has changed. They're in good shape, but we're lucky that we still have so many of the older original buildings built in the late 1800s, 1900s downtown. In a lot of places they're gone. Either they had fires or demolition for making way for other projects. I think if I had $1 zillion, I'd probably bring back Grant's to its original form. Ronnie, are you out there? Is Ronnie out there? Is Ronnie? No.
Not tonight. He's out on assignment.
He's out on assignment, the poor Ronnie. So I was going to say, Henry St. Cyr, I remember when I was working at Victory Markets, and his, I think it was his niece or granddaughter. No, it must have been his grandniece. So I was looking for a car, and she said, I think I know somebody that has one. So she calls her grandfather, Mr. St. Cyr, at the time I didn't know who it was, and says, I have a friend here, and I know you got that car in the garage. Maybe you want to sell it to him. So I went up to see him. I banged on his door. He came outside. I think he lived up on the corner of Arlington and Merriam Ave. If anybody knows if that's the same Henry St. Cyr. And I just remember he had an old garage, one-stall garage, and it was the old-style garage door. And you sort of pull the handle, and the whole wood door would just sort of go up. And the garage had wood floors in it, I think, as I remember it. You know how things can change in your memory. And there was this beautiful, one-of-a-kind, 1965 Plymouth Valiant. Not a dent in it, just beautiful. I mean, it shined. Interior was black. And I had already had 2 Plymouth Valiants, but they were both like 63 and 64, and they had push button. And this thing had automatic on the column. And this thing was like plush. I mean, immaculate. And he said, I drove it in one day, and I went to drive it out, and it wouldn't move. He put it in reverse, it wouldn't go anywhere. And he had already purchased another car at that particular point, just let the car sit there. And I said, well, how much would you want for it? And he said, how much can you give me for it? And I said, well, I have $50. And he said, it's yours. So I went, got the thing registered, put a plate on it, got my friends, we pushed it out of the garage, and everything worked. Everything except for reverse. So I don't remember how long I drove that car, but I drove it for a long time. And so if I went somewhere, all I did is make sure I park on a hill. So that way it would roll. If I was in a parking spot, I would roll back, and then I would just go up and then come back. So I was never, and I always had a friend or two with me, so even no matter what happened, we could always push our way out. So I'm pretty sure that's the same Henry St. Cyr, because he was I don't know if he ended up being a captain on the police department. It wasn't certainly when I was there, but I think it's the same person. He lived on the corner of Merriam, and I want to say Arlington, and I want to say his house was great. I can see the house as it is. So $50, I got this beautiful, and I saw one pretty similar to it not long ago, and the thing was worth a fortune. But it served me well, and I have to tell you, after I drove it, I don't know how many miles, I didn't fix it, and I passed it on to a friend for $50. Not bad. 978-537-7760, that's the number to call. I'll tell you, what a great experience and so much fun. I like church fairs. They are so much fun. But I got to tell you, go to St. Cecilia's. It is every French Canadian who ever passed through the doors of St. Cecilia's, whoever lived on French Hill, whoever worked on French Hill, who had anybody that was a relative on French Hill. And so good to see so many people who sometimes I only see them once a year, and it's at that event. And just hugs and handshakes and so much fun. And bought a few things while we were there. Got to eat some of the food. It is probably one of the biggest events. There was nobody there. I drove by 5:15, and there were a few cars, I assume the volunteers. I went back by there at 5:05, and you could not find a parking spot within 4 streets of St. Cecilia. So we had a good time, and no, I didn't eat any poutines, but I did walk by them, and did have some other things to eat, and it was a lot of great people, and I wish they had a big French-Canadian festival every year in the summer with fiddles and music, and because it would really be a lot of fun. But I know they put a whole lot of work into this church bazaar. So you asked, what's the next one coming up? November 23rd is the St. Leo's Holiday Fair, and then St. Mark's has one on December 6th. The First Church Unitarian Universalist will have their craft fair on the same day as the Strolls. It's all incorporated. And then in Fitchburg, St. Bernard's has theirs on the 23rd, and St. Joseph's Parish in Clegon has theirs on the 7th as well. So if you're into church fairs like I am, by all means. Or if I didn't mention your church and you are having a fair, by all means, let me know. I didn't hear about it. I didn't know if there's one at Holy Family or some of the other churches in town. But if you are having something. Now, if your church is having a Christmas pageant or some thing where everybody does a musical or does a skit or a musical selection, so they do musical selections centered around the holidays, let me know about those. You can always email them to me. You can call my office and let us know, and we'll add them to the list so that we make sure that people know about these. We're running out of time for getting those leaves picked up. November 30th is the last day. So let's get those picked up. Don't forget, it won't be picked up in paper. They can only be put in paper bags, or you can put them in a plastic barrel. Just leave the lid off so we know that they're there. And if you have a plastic biodegradable bag, there's no way for us to know that it's biodegradable. So they won't pick it up, because if we throw it in the pile and it doesn't decompose, then we have to go physically out there, and they have to physically go out there and sort of tear those bags apart and empty them. So that's no fun. It just adds to the cost, and so we don't want to see that happen. So November 30th is the last day, so get those leaves picked up. Not sure. I haven't checked the weather extensively, but let's see. It does say that we're going to get a brief snow shower that's going to begin around 7:20, so pretty soon, and it'll be light. So let's just look at the forecast for the next couple of days, because I think Saturday's supposed to be nice. If there are any weather people out there. Let's see. Current temperature here at LTV, see a little weather segment here, is 29 degrees and partly cloudy with a little bit of snow coming, just a tiny bit. Okay, so tomorrow's going to be 50 and sunny. So that's a good day for picking up leaves. 35 on Saturday with no wind. That's a good day for picking up leaves. Sunday, cloudy, a little overcast, but 30 degrees, 10 mile an hour winds. Might not be the best one. But then it looks like showers coming up for the first part of the week. So I would just say if you have any time tomorrow or Saturday, that's the time to get those leaves picked up. Give us a buzz here if you'd like. It is hard to believe, Veterans Day, Halloween came, Veterans Day came, and I think that's when it really hits you that it's not that far, that Thanksgiving will be here, and holidays, Christmas and Hanukkah and everything else in between will be here, and all of a sudden everything just seems to move quickly. And so we have confirmed that we will have Santa here. It's our busiest night of live programming here at LTV. Want to make sure that you're part of that. We'll let you know the date ahead of time. We'll be here next week, and then following week. Is it next week? Let's see. Next week would be, tonight is the 14th. So you're looking at next Thursday's being the 21st, and then the 28th. So we will be on one more show before Thanksgiving. So we'll talk to you a little bit about, we'll kind of open up the phone lines and find out where you're going, and if you're doing anything for Thanksgiving, let us know. So next week, we're hoping, we have a couple of streets with just base coat, paving coat on them. Anybody's asking us when we're going to get to them. Well, we'll get to them as soon as the weather is good. They're hoping next week, if the temperatures are above freezing mark, that we can get out and do, let's see, I think we still have Duggan Drive and Comstock. I think we still have part of Exchange Street and Granite Street, 6,000 feet on Granite Street. So we are hoping for that. We're hoping we can get to mark those streets with the pavement markings in next week sometime. But I don't think this is the regular weather pattern for the rest of the season. I think this is unusual. I think we'll get back to a few more mild days, and we'll certainly take advantage of that. The red carpet comes to Leominster on the 21st of the month, which is next week. And actually next week, a week from now. And I think we're going to do our show from there at 6 to 9. And join stars Adam Carbone and others and attend a viewing of the multi-award-winning film Randy's Canvas, a coming-of-age love story about an inspiring artist which who just so happens to be autistic. So if you can make it, this is really going to be interesting. It's 6 to 9. They'll wrap it up pretty quickly. They know you got kids that have to, get ready for school the next day, people that got to get to work. But it's all going to kick off at 6, and we'll be there at 6:30. And again, that's next Thursday, the 21st. Just as a reminder, we'll do a little segment tomorrow, a little bit of a commercial. But if you, business, church, company, family, friends, would like to put together a tree for the Festival of Trees, by all means, let us know, and let us know soon, because we'll start setting them up a week from tomorrow. So, it's a lot of fun. It's good group teamwork to set up that tree and have a little bit of bonding with your friends and family. It's a lot of fun. We get to raise a little bit of money from that to go to the heating fund and some of the other events in town. But overall, it just makes Town Hall look so beautiful, and we have so many events inside City Hall, and people get to come and see the trees and vote on them as to what their favorite is, and if they really like a tree bad enough they will can actually buy the tree, bid high enough. Winter Stroll is the 7th this year, 3 to 5. The Drake House Holiday Tour is the 14th, and Leominster Lights, and that's a schedule we put, so you can have this whole list and go out and check all the beautiful holidays displays that people have. Hey, you can register to vote at the Leominster Public Library with the Leominster High School Stump Club. Are you ready to vote in the next election? Drop by the library and they'll help you get registered. That's Tuesday, November 19th, 9 to 4, and in the Teen Center on the 2nd floor of the library. So Tuesday, November 19th, 9 to 4, Teen Center on the 2nd floor at the Leominster Public Library. Hey, still have apples. Still have apples over at Shoalin Farms. They're open on the weekends. Check their website for the specific hours. Breakfast of the Bands is November 24th, so not this Saturday, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. At the high school, it's at Leominster High this year, 8 to 11, full breakfast. Household, somebody just asked me about this today. Household hazardous waste and yard waste collection is going to be this Saturday. And so the 16th at the, and they're also going to have, this is what people keep asking me about, the paper shredder. They're going to have the paper shredder that day, and that's over at Graham Street at the DPW. So that's coming up this Saturday, the 16th, 9 to noon. At the DPW yard, very organized. Don't get scared away. They'll get you in there. It won't take you forever. 9 to noon, and it's the household hazardous waste and yard waste collection. You know, we went over to the Daily Bread, and that's over at the held at the Pilgrim Church, and they've been doing this for 10 years. That's 10 years. So we went over to recognize them and thank them and help to serve some food and met some great people. But all of the people and different businesses who support them, they couldn't do it without you. And, you know, for a lot of people, they might be alone, they might be struggling, might have an addiction problem. Daily Bread doesn't ask why or who. They just ask how they can help. And there's a healthy breakfast there for you on Saturday mornings from 8 to 9. And everybody is welcome. And again, they're celebrating their 10th anniversary. Let's see, 6th annual free community skate day at on this Saturday from 2:30 to 4:30. It's free. Wallace Civic Center, and event is held to memory of Shelley LeQuire, a longtime employee at Locke, who was dedicated to improving the lives of children and had a passion for hockey. So anyway, this is coming up, free community skate day, Saturday, November 16th. And just so you know, what we're trying to do this year. We had the skating rink, which was really successful, although we had, you know, cold winter, but a fluctuation in temperature a lot. So it would get real cold, and then we'd have a warm streak, so it would all thaw out, or it would rain, and then we'd have to wait for it to freeze again. I was on ice 3-4, didn't do great, but, you know, first time back in a long time. And so we're trying to move it downtown, right in the square, right in the Commons. So we'll talk a little bit about that as we get closer. Let's see, the Family Legacy of the Holocaust, the Community Read film event. And that's Saturday, November 16th, 1 to 5. Boy, everything's going on now. This is every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this is what it's going to be like. Just a full menu of things that are happening. But anyway, November 16th, 1 to 5 at the Leominster Public Library. Hey, the Leominster Knights of Columbus, every year they put on a really nice dinner. The Knights themselves show up to cook the dinner. They're doing this again. It's their annual senior dinner. It's December 4th this year. It's at absolutely no cost, handicap accessible through the side door, which is located on Viscaloid Ave. And all Leominster senior citizens are welcome. And again, it's free. It's at the Knights of Columbus. More information, you can call our office, and we will hook you up. Community Resilience Building Workshop. It's going to be held December 11th at the Emergency Management Center at 37 Carter Street. The City of Leominster received funding for from the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs to complete a Community Resilience Building Workshop. The city has been impacted in the past by severe weather, and like other Massachusetts communities, and now we find ourselves in a more unpredictable weather pattern around the country, which brings on new challenges and opportunities. And so we're going to be working on this plan so that we're prepared. It involves 8-hour workshops, which must include input from the community. So we would love for you to participate. You can go to Wendy Weeks you could contact Wendy through WWIKS at leominster-ma.gov, and you can just call our office. That's the easiest thing on some of these things. It's just hard to give these addresses for people to connect with you through our email system. And we're still accepting applications. If anybody would like to be on the Mayor's Youth Council, all you have to do is live here. You don't have to go to school here. You can be homeschooled. No big deal. Let's see. So the farm stand is open in November, and I think it's I don't know. It's either 11 to 5 or 10 to 5, and then they'll start selling Christmas trees November 22nd. There are also a number of hikes that are scheduled for Shoalin Farms. Did want to mention that we have a little spot downtown, the marketplace. So basically, last year and the years before, we would take the farmers market and bring it indoors to City Hall. Well, now we have our own little spot on a trial basis downtown, right where, let's see, right next to Monument Music School. I want to think it's 28, I want to say it's 28 Main Street. Anyway, they're open even tonight. They had something going on there. You can check our website. We'll certainly let you give you more information. But Saturdays, they have their indoor farmers market, and there's some vendors in there. Stop by. They have coffee. They have a little room for the kids to entertain themselves, play games, and yeah, they get a chance. There's a book drop, a book take. You drop and take. I guess you can leave one and take one kind of thing. And if you don't have one to leave off, and you see a book you really like, and you got your little kids with you, your grandkids, you could just take the book, and that's what it's all about. So a lot happening here in the city as we switch gears to another season, and you know, as much as you possibly can, take part in some, our events here in the city. The stroll is going to be bigger and better than ever. The Festival of Trees, it's really a special time. People count on that. We have a lot of great sponsors for that event, but a lot going on. There's concerts that are coming up. The Colonial Band, Montezuma Chorale was in tonight getting set up, and there's just school events and the high school play. Let me see. That's coming up, I want to say next, you know, these dates are messing me up, but I'm pretty sure the high school play is coming up next week, but it could be the following week. So let me see if I can just jump on Facebook and see if we can find that. Let's see. All right. Maybe somebody could call me and let me know when that event is. But it's coming up. I think it's next Friday and Saturday night, but it might be. Oh, here it is. So the play's coming up next week. November 22nd and the 23rd. So next week, right? Yeah. Is that next week? Yeah, that's next week. So you can get your tickets at the door. It's at the Leominster High School. And Pippin is the play that they're going to be doing. These kids work real hard. I will be there on Friday night, I believe, and to support them and all of the hard work. And it's a good way to support the arts. These are young adults who many have been involved in the arts since they were just little tykes and continue on, and many of them will go on to other careers and join, you know, some will do it professionally, some will join community theater, or, you know, move somewhere else or take part in community theater in college or wherever it might be. So a couple of things that that are going to begin to happen is these church fairs and concerts and the play and the Festival of Trees and Shoreland Farms and buying your Christmas tree, and it's all going to go fast. And I hope we can get some more members of the Historic Commission to come back on the show and talk a little bit about what Christmas was like and the holidays were like in Leominster in the old days. And I know that's always fun to reflect back, Carl, when we talk about Grants and Newberries and just talk about, you know, how it was. And I think that's the catalyst for us trying to create all these festivals and events in the city, trying to create those new events and those new memories that bring family and friends together. We're out of time. Thank you for watching Inside Leominster. Thank you for the whole crew that comes in. No matter what the temperature is, how hard it rains or snows, they always show up on Thursday night. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. Need to show up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you through the generous support of Colonial Insulation Company, residential and commercial insulation and fireproofing services, specializing in blown-in cellulose as well as spray foam insulation. For more information, visit their website, colonialinsulation.com.
And by Medical Arts Hearing Instruments, 52 West Street in Leominster, locally and authentically providing better hearing and quality of life since 1978. www.donot shout.com.